Hello, my name is KashCast, and this is the KashCast, a podcast about whatever the hell I really want to do today. With me, we have Asterios Kokkinos, who is
right here. He's right over here. We're ready to go. What's going on? I'm Asterios Kokkinos. I'm a comedian. I'm a podcaster. I'm a big fan of Cash. Big fan of his art. Big fan of his whole deal. And so it's like, oh, I want to talk to him. I'll do his podcast. It sounds nice.
And thank you very much for that. I've been a big fan of Asterios myself, actually. If I remember correctly, like I had found you through, that movie that you had done with Mumkey, but I'm gonna get into that a bit later, but just like trying to like track down like the whole timeline, like you through like some roundabout way have had like a bigger impact on entertainment throughout my more formative years than I realized. And that's funny to think about.
I'm old. I've been doing it for a long time. I've done a lot of stupid things and a lot of not stupid things. It's fun. Fun, man.
Okay. First off, let me just get this out of the way. Because I remember like actually going on my way to text you when this happened.
Is there someone else on this call, by the way?
Yes. We have Jim Parcel. Do you want to introduce yourself, Jimbo?
Hello. I'm Jim Parcel, semi-professional clown and friend of Cash and longtime patron of Asterios. Big fan of both of them. I'm just glad to be here.
Hey.
Were you just not going to introduce him? How were you planning on handling that? I really want to know.
Man, like I honestly, I thought it would be funny if like we were just talking, but then like he just like interject like out of nowhere and be like, "Whoa!"
No, I ruined that joke. That would have been pretty funny. Okay. That's what I get for caring about his feelings. I ruined the comedy again. That's my fault. Sorry.
It's all right. Appreciate it.
It's cool. But first off, so I'll just say this, and I remember going out of my way to text you when I saw this tweet. For people listening at home who, for some reason, aren't listening to Asterios' Loud's podcast, you got food poisoning a while back.
Yes,
actually.
I did. I got terrible. Okay, so it was like the day after Christmas, and of course on Christmas you eat like a pig. That's how Christmas works. So my niece was visiting, and my niece only likes to eat TGI Fridays. That's all she eats, and it's like that's a pretty good racket. I kind of can't blame her. If like she found a way to only eat TGI Fridays, like that's like good for her. I'm proud of her.
Yeah, beat the system.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I was like, but I got to eat healthy because I ate like a pig yesterday. So I made a big mistake. I went to TGI Fridays and I was like, I'll take the light and right and fit and lit salmon, please. I hear it's low in calories and high in food poisoning. And it was. And I ended up in the emergency room, and I legit almost died. I almost died. Like, they were like, we don't know what. Because they thought for a while it might be this kind of superbug called C. diff or Clostridium difficile. And the reason it's called that is that it's very difficult to not die when you have it. And unfortunately, C. difficile, like a long time ago, like some giant pharmaceutical company, because I'm also like an advertising writer, some like massive pharmaceutical company had like a bunch of extra money at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so they hired my agency. They were like, just write a bunch of cartoons about superbugs. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever you pay me to do, kids. And So like I wrote like this whole cartoon about like the history of C. difficile and how it killed thousands of French people. Like how C. difficile is a death sentence. And then I'm in the emergency room and this nurse looks at a vial of my poop.
Oh,
and she goes, "Oh, this might be C. difficile." I go, "What?" She goes, "Oh, you know what that is?" I go, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't use words like that. Like, unless you actually know what it is." She's like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were a huge idiot." I was like, "Well, I can't blame you. I mean, that's, you know, I look like one. I get it." And thank God it wasn't C. diff. It was just a regular kind of food poisoning that would have killed an elderly person immediately. So that's good. So I lived, but barely. But man, you be careful with the TGI Fridays, kids. You take one lesson away from this podcast. Order something that's been fried to death.
Yes.
It kills the germs.
Yes, that's what it does.
Because the germs didn't make things tasty. So, like, honestly, I don't know why we aren't frying more things, even if it's air fried.
Yes, exactly.
It's the best of both worlds, you know, if you want to be more health conscious about it.
What you listen to KashCast, he knows.
Hey. Oh, wait, what were you saying, Jimbo?
What even is an air fryer?
It's a convection oven.
It's a toaster oven, isn't it?
It's a convection oven. That's different. I mean, it's not. But it's different.
Okay, and speaking of writing for cartoons, I didn't think we were going to be able to get into this early. It was just like a perfect segue line. I personally, one thing that stuck out for me when I was like looking through your past credentials is that you actually did a freelance writing gig for Right Now Kapow, which is a cartoon that only I have ever heard of.
Yes. Right. I did a little bit of writing for a thing called Right Now Kapow. It was a very interesting show. It was if you want, you could tell people about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So Right Now Kapow was a show on Disney XD, and it was unique because a lot of like animation nerds were kind of confused because even though it was airing on Disney XD, it was produced by Warner Brothers, so it was like unheard of. We were like thinking, oh man, this is gonna be something huge, but in reality, it was more like an animated sketch comedy, which a lot of people weren't on board for, especially considering the art style is kind of surreal. But you know what? That made it unique. And the fact that it had people that also worked on Cartoon Network's Mad, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and I just like the surreal sense of humor because, like, not only did you have like, a lot of people who are more experienced in sketch comedy doing the voices for it, but it just has like a sort of like wacky off-kilter humor that really a lot of the jokes you can only get away with in animation. So it was the best of both worlds, and I'm glad now that people are starting to like look at it in a better light, but still it's really unheard of.
Yeah, so it was very, very interesting in that it was an animated sketch comedy, and I know you're kind of thinking like, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, it had a cast of like 5 characters, like a diamond-headed guy and a moon-headed guy and like a square-headed guy, and then it was like it had an animated cast of actors, and then they would dress those people up in little costumes, and then they would do little skits, and so it was like a cartoon starring actors playing characters. It was very interesting. And the other thing is, they made a very intentional choice. They were like, we don't want to do anything that you couldn't do on Saturday Night Live. So like they didn't want to do a sketch where like someone's on the moon and then they're underwater and then they're in the human brain. They were like, we want sketches that take place like in a classroom, in an office, like in the park, just like very basic settings that you could like you would see in sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, yeah, so it was very, very interesting. And it was a lot of fun. I didn't do a lot of work for it. I did like a little bit of work for it. I think I wrote a bunch of pitches, and then they asked me to write up like 3 of them as full sketches, and then 1 of them made it to animation. You know, it was like a freelance thing. But the thing, I think what happened with that show was, yeah, like you said at the beginning, it was made by Warner Brothers, but it was bought by Disney.
Yeah.
And, I assume that what they did was, they made the show and then they pitched it around, and then like Disney was the highest bidder. I assume.
Right.
But what happened was, well, because neither one truly owned it, neither company could truly benefit from fully promoting it.
Right.
Like a similar thing happened with the show Two Broke Girls, where it was like, I think Two Broke Girls was owned by Warner Brothers, but it aired on CBS Viacom. So like, even though Two Broke Girls did well in the ratings, CBS was like, you know what? We don't want to pick this thing up for more seasons because we would rather pick up a show that we totally own for more seasons. So when we sell it into syndication, we make more money in the long term. So like,
right.
Even though Two Broke Girls was like a successful show, it's like, well, CBS and Warner Brothers, they had other places to put their chips. And I think that's what happened with this show.
Mm-hmm. And of course, and this is where my cartoon nerd perspective comes into play. Generally speaking, while Disney XD is more the channel where, people like watch cartoons, when it comes to these networks, they normally have like the main channel, like Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network, and then they have like the premium cable where they kind of just, if they have a new show and it's not doing that well, they'll either like just set it there graveyard style or just like exclusively debut it there. So no matter how good it's doing, not a lot of people are going to see it if it doesn't get reruns on the main channel. So it was kind of set up for failure. And Disney XD is kind of infamous for like having like a lot of good shows that they just don't promote or even do reruns to.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate, but it makes sense.
And I'll just say, a lot of the reason that I like Right Now Kapow personally, and if this name sets off anything new, like feel free to interject. But I noticed that Mark Merrick was someone who was like a big person working in the creative aspect. And Mark Merrick was a dude who, he didn't create Kablam, but he was the person who did like the main like Henry and Jude segments. And that's like one of my favorite like cartoon people. So like I knew exactly the type of humor that I was getting into. And for anyone listening, I don't know if in post I can like play like a clip, but to paint a scenario, if I remember like one sketch from Right Now Kapow, that I found hilarious is that like everyone was like a newscaster, but the whole gimmick was that they're all in helicopters, right?
Oh yeah, that was hysterical.
Yeah. And then so the whole thing is that they're completely oblivious to like how much disruption the helicopters are actually causing, to like wherever they're reporting on. And then I feel like the diamond like asked like one person, like the candy girl, like how's it going at the zoo? And then she's just scratching her head, not looking at the camera. It's like, yeah, the zoo's not doing so hot. And you just see like 2 people lugging a huge giraffe like right behind her, and just going and going and going, and you can piece together. I did not expect that. It really.
Oh yeah, that helicopter sliced a giraffe's head right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if cash, yeah, it's was pretty great. Yeah, they murdered a giraffe on this show, which I mean, you know, I had nothing to do with that sketch, but I'm proud to be even tangentially associated with the Disney XD giraffe murder.
How about the sketch you did? Do you remember that? Like, well,
I do remember. I wrote what it was called, the Mathemagician. I think that was it. And it was like, I just wanted to do like a little wish fulfillment thing where, like, you know, because it's like I was always terrible at math.
Yeah.
And like, so I was like, I wish. So it's like this girl and she's going to fail her math test. And then then she's like, I wish someone would help me with this. And then and then a mathemagician comes in and he's like, I'm here to teach you how cool math is and that math is fun.
Right.
But the thing is, like, she actually just needs the answers to this test. And then, and the thing is, like, but the magician just keeps singing about how math is fun and it's so much fun to add and subtract. And then she's like, no, but I need like very specific answers to like adding and subtracting these things.
And it doesn't help that he's given the wrong numbers and it's only making things more confusing.
Right. I think it turns out that he is not good at math. He just likes it.
Right.
Which like makes sense. It's like you can be good. You cannot be good at baseball, but like it.
Right.
And then I think she fails the test. Yeah. I think that's how it ends.
Yeah. And that's what I like, because like even like they can like have like a concept, but then like no matter like how like the length of like the individual skit, they'll just like do something that throws a complete curveball, like a mom like playing Pikachu with her kid, but then when the baby covers their eyes, the mom actually freaking disappears.
That's adorable. I love it. I love it. I love
it. And this is another bone I'm throwing to the cartoon people. But one of the creators is Marley. Feel free to interject if I'm murdering this name.
Halprin Grazer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.
So, how do you know Marley?
I went to college with that kid.
Sick.
Like he's an incredibly funny guy, like a really talented dude. He's writing partners with Josie Campbell Smith Grazer maybe at this point. She's super talented, and like just Marley knows a lot of really good comedy writers, and Marley's been working for Warner Brothers, I think, since he was like 20 years old, and now I bet he's like 35. So he's been in the Warner family for like 15 years. He's just like a really clever dude. He you know, I know he wrote for Mad, and he's written for like a lot of the cartoons on Cartoon Network that you like, and Josie has too. And it's just it's a bunch of very talented people were at that show.
Yeah, and I can appreciate right off the bat. Well, first off, for anyone in the audience, he's also, again, he's worked on Mad. He did help with Thundercats Roar in the upcoming Aquaman King's Atlantis, which, hey, you know, unpopular opinion, but, you know, I'm excited for it. Hey, whatever. But I do appreciate after all this time, he still is a Right Now Kapow header. And I still think that's what situation the show is hilarious, because it's like, the whole thing is like an illegal stalemate, because it's literally like whatever, whether it ends up on like a Disney streaming service or like a Warner Brothers streaming service, because who knows? It's whatever.
Yeah. Wait. Tell me about this Aquaman show. Is it going to be serious or funny?
It's going to be funny. Very much in like a similar tone and drawing style to Thundercats Roar, which, though some people obviously are gonna, but you know, it's like whatever. Like,
well, look, we live in like a very weird time where people they're taught their opinions online, and then they form their opinions online before they see something, and then they just have so much fun spamming that opinion everywhere.
Mhm.
It's like if there's one thing someone loves, it's their own opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a little Pokemon you can keep in your pocket, and you can whip out your opinion at this point and that point, and you get to like learn terms like CalArt style, and you get to, and it's like, oh, and the people can't wait to like get on Twitter and go like, opinion, go, CalArt's this, and oh,
being mouth that.
Blank ruined my blank that. It's just like, and the thing is, it's like, and then when you like toss your little opinion out there, people take the bait and they get pissed off at you and they argue with you, and these people are like lonely. So they see any attention they get as positive,
right?
Because normally they get no attention. So they're like, oh, someone's talking to me, even though they're telling me I'm wrong. Well, that's better than not talking to me at all, which is what happens the rest of the time. So like, yeah, so these people have ruined the internet.
Yes.
And you know what? Well, God bless them. It's our job not to take the bait, listeners. Like, yeah, someone's gonna. The same thing with the Snyder cut. Dear God, it's like all these people who are just like Joss Whedon ruined Justice League. It's like, have you seen any of this other guy's movies? He made like 1.5 good movies, and they were both just like, hey, what if I used someone's graphic novel? What if I just like use someone's graphic novel as storyboards and just did this? It's like 300 and Sin City. They're both just like, they're just graphic novel adaptations. I'm not saying they're not good,
right?
But it's like, that guy didn't do a lot.
Yeah,
like, how hard is it to walk into a room?
Yeah.
How hard is it to walk into a room of computer nerds and go, make the movie look like this Sin City black and white comic? It's like that's what these nerds get paid millions of dollars to do. Just like, did they even need Zack Snyder there for that? Like, my guess is they just took like the Sin City comic or the 300 comic and they put it in one of those weird science style machines that got struck by lightning, and the movie came out. And even with that other movie that Snyder guy made, Watchmen, it's like it's just a graphic novel. Like it's just a graphic novel. Like you probably shouldn't have picked a graphic novel with that much dialogue there, buddy. Like, because all the dialogue sounds like ass on camera.
It's almost like it wasn't meant to be a movie.
Yeah. Okay. So people are like, "Oh, Joss Whedon ruined this movie," and it's like, look, at worst, he probably just made it not annoying. Look, and I know Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon's a very questionable figure in the culture right now.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that guy can do, it's deliver vanilla ice cream. And it's like, if there's one thing Zack Snyder can do, it's annoy the piss out of you. Like with his Superman is Jesus, and now the Joker's Jesus, Batman's Jesus, everyone's Jesus. It's got Batman hitting Superman with a toilet. Oh, we're both named Martha. Oh, double Martha problems. Oh, we're in a real double Martha situation. Oh, no. If only your mom wasn't named Martha, I wouldn't see you as a human being. That's what it took?
Oh, my God.
Similar mom names? Hey, same car. Now I don't want to murder you. Hey, same car. Wow, same car. The hell?
Reminds me of that one. You probably know what I'm talking about. This might be a thing Jim
knows.
But I remember there was just like one meme comic where these two guys are just like congratulating each other. Same hat?
Same hat.
Yeah. Okay, but we were talking about mad nerds earlier, and this happened almost exclusively on Twitter. Either one of you, feel free to interject. But I know for a fact that this kind of like surprised me when this happened. Mm-hmm. So like some like fucking yutz, he had like this like opinion on anime where it was like, if you know like any of these super mainstream and acceptable to like if you're for normie, animes. You're not a real anime fan. And he rocked the site so hard for almost 2 days. People were just clowning on him.
Well, I thought the dude was like, if you only watch these or whatever, then you're like basic bitch anime.
You're ruining his story.
Sorry.
Don't poke holes in his story. Okay, hold on. Now let me fix this.
Okay.
All right, and 3, 2, 1. So this guy said, if you like these animes, you're worse than Hitler? That's what he said? Wow. What great podcasting material this is. Now that we've taken it to an extreme. If there's one thing there's no room for podcasting, it's nuanced opinions, Jim. Wow, this guy said that if you like Evangelion, you deserve to die? Oh my goodness. This is great outrage podcasting.
And I love that pronunciation, by the way. Peak boomer.
Peak boomer, baby. Yeah, baby.
And it was just ironic because it's like I'm seeing randos jump on him. I'm seeing like official like accounts for Funimation, Netflix jumping on him. I'm seeing the voice actors themselves jump on him. And it's like, you know Captain Planet, of course.
Of course, I love it. The power is yours.
So it's like everyone just like having their power rings to come together just to defeat one fucking dude. It's hilarious.
Now, look, here's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that the guy was actually like, look, it's just, if this is all you watch, that's a problem. Right. I heard that this guy was actually like a good guy. See, Jim, this is now this is when we introduce it.
Gotcha.
Now this is when we could, because now here's what I can do. I can be like, oh, a bunch of brand accounts were bullying a guy. See, and now I'm the hero. You hear this? Like, okay, so wait, so Jim, say the thing. Say the thing.
Shit.
Say the thing. Give us the nuance. Say the nuance.
The nuance.
Yeah, give us. This is the time for nuance.
Gotcha.
Now that we've roasted him, now we can like turn around on it, and then we look like free thinking heroes.
That the guy actually wasn't that bad.
Yes, exactly. Now we're free thinking heroes.
Not that bad.
I mean,
you heard that. Wait, this guy's not that bad. What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that guy really said anything that controversial, really. But
well, I'm listening.
I think there's a better way of putting it, but
right.
I think if you branch out, it's like with music. You start out with the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, but if you're ask someone who's 30 years old and their favorite band is the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, then it's like, all right, you haven't really branched outside of the obvious choices there.
Right.
Everyone likes Evangelion. Everyone likes Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people like Sailor Moon and stuff like that too. So I think that I don't know. It's not as simple as just this guy's bad on the internet and I'm mad. Brands, let's get angry at this guy.
But you know what? I can actually respect that. Not the dude that says shit to begin with, because he has some other takes. So I'm like, oof. But like,
wait, this huge villain. Well, now let's screw him again. Wait, what else did this guy say?
He had
this is great. So this is a 10-minute segment. We can go back and forth on this guy, and then after you tell me like what he said about like a certain race or gender or class or something, then be like, but something disease he has, and I'll be like, oh no, this poor guy. But then be like, but he stepped on a puppy. I'll be like, oh, I hate this guy.
But like,
we can go back and forth. This is an hour's worth of content right here.
Yes, thank you for the watch time. Thank you.
I love this.
So I've already like had the Zoo block because he's had some.
His name is what?
Oh no, I've already had him blocked.
His name is the Zoo.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you said I already had the Zoo blocked. Wait, what did you say?
I've already had this guy blocked.
Oh, this dude blocked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because,
all right, tell me more.
Like some other like controversial opinions. He's one of those.
Who is this guy? Give me this guy's username.
Like I'm too lazy. I'm looking it up on my phone, so I don't have I don't ruin the podcast recording. His name's like Black Sage D, and he's like a big weeb. He goes on about SJW censoring anime.
Oh, next. I got no time. I got no time for professional provocateurs. Thanks. I got no time.
It's just that, like, seeing this dude, because I read him block because he was like one of those goofies. Despite being black, he's the one who has like the biggest issue when like black artists like redraw fictional characters as black, and I'm like, what?
That's a good way to get attention, though, from whites. It's always good to be like the one. Like, I'm a Greek guy.
Yeah.
Me, Asterios and Antonis Kokkinos. So if I went on TV and I was like, I'm Greek, and I'm here to tell you those Greeks are no good. Those Greeks are no good creeps. I hate Greeks. Greeks suck. Greeks are super lame. Then the media is like, Greek guy? Don't like Greeks? Now we're interested. The same thing happened to Jonathan McCain. Remember Jonathan McCain? He was like a Republican, but he would like go on TV and be like, sometimes Republicans bad. The media ate it up every time. They'd be like, a Republican? Say Republican bad? Now I'm interested.
Does not compute.
And there's a new dude doing that too, like some guy out of Michigan. Adam Katzinger, I think his name is.
Oh shit, we share a first name.
Or Kazinger. or something. He's got a name. And he's like a Republican. He's like, I'm a Republican, but I think Trump sucks. And the media's like, yes. Like people. So if there's a African American gentleman who's going out there and he's saying like, I think we need less black characters, that'll get attention from racists. But look, it'll get attention. And if you think all attention is good, well then hey, congrats. But I don't know anything about this guy, and maybe I love him. You'll never know. I don't know.
Now,
I don't know anything about. I've never heard of this guy.
Oh yeah, and keep it that way.
Okay, there you go.
Now,
all right.
For Jimbo, before we segue into something else, I actually want to be a bit more serious and add on to Jimbo's perspective. And for me, so I can relate because like I'm into like a bit more like niche titles when it comes to like basically all my interests, including anime. But I'm not like type of person who's like, oh, if you've never heard of this niche anime, it isn't even streaming anywhere anymore, you're a pleb or whatever. I want to bring people up to my level because I think that the whole thing, why we bond over nerd shit, is that we can share experiences over stupid nerd shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like I got into like Sailor Moon through my older cousin, and Asterios, you know which cousin I'm talking about.
I thought she was your aunt.
Oh no.
I was told she was your aunt.
Oh no.
That's what I was told.
Oh
that's
man.
What you told me that. Or I wasn't listening. I wonder which one. I wonder which one it's going to turn out to be.
Man, like my brain has just been like so corrupted from quarantine. It's like, maybe I did slip up and say the A word. Who knows?
Who knows?
Bruh.
But yeah, it's like I'm not gonna like lecture my freaking cousin because like she's never seen Cowboy Bebop. If anything, I want to show her Cowboy Bebop.
Of course.
Exactly.
But then how are you supposed to feel better than her?
For the record, I don't entirely agree with what he was saying. I think that's just the perspective of
right
branching out from there. I'm like that with music. I mean, if someone's never heard like Paranoid by Black Sabbath, I'm like, I want to show you it. Like,
yeah,
let's listen to it right now. Like, someone hasn't heard it, like, let's freaking go, And I'm like that with anime and movies and stuff too. Especially in the music world, people are super gatekeepy about stuff. Like, like I know what I like, and it's like I branch out. I listen to new stuff every day, but it's like I'm nonstop. I'm listening to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard on repeat. That's like that's what I do. And if someone's never heard of them, I'm like, oh, let's go. Nonagon Infinity. Let's listen to it. That's I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of gatekeeping.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so I just about something. So I'm gonna ask you to just like rattle off like some anime that like you guys thought off the top of your head, and we can transition to like another topic based on music. So Asterios, what Japanimation did you grow up with in your formative years?
I liked Speed Racer.
Oh, you're just like my
That
dad.
car did a bunch of cool. That car could jump. It had buzzsaws. That car had a little bird that could fly around and stuff. There was a chimp in the trunk. That car was loaded, baby. And he never gave up. And that's the thing I liked about Speed Racer. He had a real never say die attitude, that Speed Racer.
A real Goku.
Oh, he'll be behind in the
attitude.
race. You never count him out. I'll tell you what. That Speed Racer. Because it's like, hey, look, there's an episode where he has to race against a car called the Mammoth Car. It's a car that's like as big as an apartment complex.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I don't know why these two cars were in the same race. Usually like you kind of it's like
weight class.
Yeah, usually there's like a weight class situation, but okay, whatever. The Mammoth Car, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay, Mammoth Car. Yeah, Mammoth Car. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Mammoth Car. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, there's a Mammoth Car. Well, yeah, okay. But like, you see this giant car, and it's like, how the hell is Speed Racer going to beat this car? Oh, I'll tell you what, he finds a way. I think the car tipped over. I mean, it was way too big. I don't know why they thought bigger meant, because it's a race. I don't know why they thought bigger meant faster.
Right.
It usually actually means the opposite. Like usually when you build bigger, you're building for strength, not speed.
Right.
It's called Speed Racer, not Strength Racer. Although Strength Racer would be pretty good. Here comes Strength Racer. He's the strongest there is. He's the strongest and his car is way too heavy. Do. His car will never be knocked off the roads. Do. He's basically going at a reasonable speed. And when the odds aren't against him because his car is really big, you bet your life Strength Racer will perform as expected. Go Strength Racer! Go Strength Racer! Go Strength Racer! Go! He's busy doing everything you'd expect a big car to do. His car is not fast and it doesn't get good mileage. There's not much adventure to be had.
We're gonna do a duet. We got one more to close it out.
Well, but the audience knows it, so that's why you got to stop.
Yeah, good point.
Because the thing is, they know I'm going to go Strength Racer, go Strength Racer, go Strength Racer, go. That's why you can't do it. You got to, because there's no extra meat there on the bone.
That's why you just fade out
unless you build a whole meta commentary around the zigging zagging like I just did. Asterios, Kokkinos, professional comedian. Now I got to tell you, kids, I got to go soon. I'm just got to warn you. I'm on 4 different podcasts today.
Oh my God!
I know I'm on 4 different podcasts today. I'm guessing your podcast is 2 hours long, like every teenager's podcast is.
Oh no, like I'm like an hour max, honestly.
Oh, thank God! So here's what I would suggest. I'd suggest if there's any like very important questions where you're just like, if I don't ask this question, my episode will be ruined. Like this is the time.
Well, I don't have a question, but That's have like a little idea for his segment, and
I'm listening.
He's been waiting. So,
okay, I'm listening.
So for the people in the audience, I'm this episode is like peak nepotism because I previously did edit for an Asterios show called Waifu Wars.
You're damn right you did. You did a fantastic gosh darn job.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
And you had always discussed that both me and Jimbo would have been on it, but then,
Eventually, yes. But then then it's like, oh, being around each other will kill you. Okay, all right. Maybe I won't make a YouTube show then. maybe making a YouTube show isn't a priority then. Okay, interesting. God zigged when we thought he'd zag. All right, so who are your waifus? I'll judge them.
Okay. I'll say right off the bat, I'm gonna be like the first weirdo that actually has like Western animation. So, okay. So first off, Ida Clawthorne from the Owl House.
Tell me about this character. I don't know them. I'm interested.
Okay. So, so Zencastr has like a chat thing. So I pasted an image right there.
No, it's an audio podcast. You tell me. Paint an audio picture.
Oh, yeah. You need to know what they look like, though.
Well, then you need to describe it with your words. Because this is an audio podcast. Okay. You can't rely on Let's go. All right. Paint me a word picture. Theater of the mind.
Okay. So, Ida Clawthorne, from the Owl House, is like a witch on this area called the Boiling Isles. So she's like tall, lanky, has like long, swooshy, gray hair. You ever heard of Tenchi Muyo?
No.
Oh man, this is a Saranch question. Oh yeah, Jimbo, you know Tenchi Muyo, right?
Yes, I'm aware of Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah, you know Ryoko, the main character, silver hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she basically looks like that, has like a red garb, and the personality. And just because it's the voice actress, she's literally just Wendy Malick.
Oh, I like Wendy Malick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just shoot
well,
me.
Well,
now
you got my attention.
Yeah. Yeah, she's hilarious. And it's obvious that, like, she's obviously like blatantly irresponsible. She's always like skirting around authority. She's like an enemy of like the judicial system, like on the run and shit. But despite being irresponsible and narcissistic and stuff, she ultimately does still care for the people closest to her, including Luce, the human Afro-Latino girl that she's babysitting and trained to become like a real witch, like Harry Potter without the questionable offer. So in spite of having like a real like tough sarcastic personality, she still is on the whole a very good friend and very good person. So that's what I like.
All right. Well, you've described her terribly, just terribly. let me start off. You described her by being like, "Oh, she's a lot like this other character you've never heard of," and then you're like, "And she's a lot like the actress she plays." You got to be like, she's nice or she's mean. She's a redhead or she's a blonde. She's loud or she's quiet. Characters are defined by very basic traits. Tall or short. Now my alarm's going off. Tell you about the next podcast I have to be on. All right, you wasted your shot. Jim, go.
All right. So I'm also in the minority of people who pick waifus that are actually, pushing 30. So that's, yay for me.
Dang.
So... And also, this probably is a character that Asterios is aware of.
Yay.
So, from the classic anime K-On!, my waifu is Sawa-chan Sensei, who is...
Oh, that teacher.
Yes, the teacher, and she is the president of the Light Music Club, and she is also... has a good heart, but is a little bit clumsy and selfish at times, but she means well.
Well, you kind of described her. Look, you at least described her a little bit better than KashCast did, because you're like, she's a teacher and she means well. Yeah. You didn't really tell me why you love her. What makes her so lovable? But again, I have to say you did better than KashCast did. So, like, grading on a curve, I gotta give it to you, Jim Parcel.
Okay.
This woman with a job sounds great.
She plays the guitar. She's a rock and roller. She has great tastes in costumes.
Yep.
And she has a wide assortment of costumes.
This is getting better.
Shares with her with their club members, and
you guys have had like years to think about this, literal years. Because like every 3 months, one of you guys will text me and they'll be like, "We want to come on Waifu Wars," and I'll be like, "It's still a pandemic. It's still a pandemic."
I'll drive
like, yeah,
to
but
New
when
York
the pandemic's
right now.
over, we just want to remind you that we want to be on your YouTube show. And it's like, yeah, all right. Look, I'm old. That stuff kills me for sure. If I was a kid like you, yeah, I guess I'd be worried about talking about my anime opinions. I'm old. I'm worried about living another day. But, Jim, your argument has lived another year because I'm going with your teacher.
Yay.
All right, kids, I got to go. I'm so sorry. But if you liked me being loud on this podcast, then you'll love the loudest podcast, my podcast. It's a comedy show where me and my co-host, we give our loud opinions about today's stupidest bullshit. And you can hear us on YouTube. You search for the loudest podcast. On Spotify, you search for the loudest podcast. On iTunes, you search for it. Or on Google, you search for the loudest podcast. Wherever you can find podcasts, you can find the loudest podcast.
Asterios, as always, it's been a great time talking to you. And hey, you know, just like you have a good time recording the 50th podcast, you got to do.
I will.
All right. Patreon.com/Asterios. Dig. Got it.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.